JAC actually originated from a workshop situation. We would hire gay models and paint them, and draw or paint. And this went on in my studio and in Clarence's studio, and started out in Andy Fable's studio. So we already had this was kind of the beginnings of a kind of group of gay men artists working from a gay model usually. And John, Clarence, and I at one point, and I can't tell you what the magic point was, decided one day that maybe we can try working together, the three of us. And so we tried this, and the result, say, in like a 390, was the way we would work traditionally alone, but all of a sudden we were working together. So you'd have a model, and it looks like we might have had two models in this case, and we're doing basically a life drawing. The difference was that we were gay men, and we were hiring gay models. And in this particular number 390, you can see there was some kind of idea of a gay context here, where there's a guy lying down, touching himself, and another guy standing up and looking down with interest. But it's still basically life drawing.
It really looks much more like a really unified piece.
It does look like a unified piece, actually. But I can see areas where I've worked on it and John worked on it a bit more. Yeah, it is a bit unified. Well, for instance, 369. That's not exactly the beginning, but not too far probably. Where you have different styles, the lower bottom, the lower part of the body is actually a little distorted. You have an extra foot coming out, very large extra foot. But it is actually, we did manage to get a lying figure. There are all these extraneous activities going around the figure, and you don't know what that is because every artist had his own idea as to how to fill in the background. Mm-hmm. So the background is chaotic. The context of the body was chaotic. But I think we were very careful at first to keep the male body intact. We weren't going to somehow distort the male body too much, because that was we thought as gay men we had to kind of keep the figure intact and recognizable. Let me see, a little later on we got into things like 374. Now this one, you see, looks like it was done without a model. It was done from various types of male figures. One looks like it's a leather, and one little guy at the bottom here, obviously a little midget here, who knows why, but they all have big cocks, or they all have erect cocks. So there was obviously an attention. We were determined to tell people this is a cock and balls kind of situation.
Right,
It's not just any three guys with sunglasses somewhere. We were very careful about that. Later we changed ideas, but early on we were very careful to use the male nude and to give it to make sure it was a gay context.
Right.
And so that was our idea.
Well, in a piece like this, you said you didn't think you used models. Did you have a reference, photos or pictures?
I don't think so, actually. I'm trying. I can recognize people a bit, actually. We use models so frequently that after a while I've lost track of who we used. But we were, after a while, we got quite, I don't think so. The top left, the guy without the arms, I can't imagine that we worked from a model there. It's so distorted to me. And a little midget, I can't imagine working for a model from that little guy.
No.
And, but let me think now. Probably the picture next to it, 373.
Right.
Might come from a model, and you see what we've done here. We're getting into color. There aren't too many examples of the very early pieces that are mostly black and white. Here we're getting into color, and we're doing various imitations or reiterations of the same piece. There's one figure, sunglasses, the main in the center, and then there's another echo of the person's head further up, and then echo of the arm on the right. And this looks actually fairly integrated. I'd be a little hard-pressed to say what part I did and what part John did, what part Clarence did.
Well, once you would start on a piece like this, who would actually start the painting, or was it always a different one?
Well, this is a large piece of paper.
Yeah. And
we were all used to working with a model. So somebody would start. And in this case, it looks like we must start in different directions, different places. Somebody would start perhaps in the center, and somebody might have started in the corner. I'm not quite sure. However the mood hit you? And then after a while, you got the idea that, okay, we are working together, so I'm going to stop working in the middle and move to another part.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Another part, and then somebody else would move in. Now that's not. I'm kind of guessing a bit how it worked, because I can't imagine putting this yellow color in the face and then a pink color next to it. That wouldn't be my.
Right.
I just wouldn't do that basically. But maybe I would put in the sunglasses, maybe some of the hair, and then move on to make maybe something on the left. But it looks fairly clean actually. It doesn't look.
It does.
The previous one looks a bit messier. Things are a little out of control there. Things are floating around and
Chagall-ish?
It's a little out of control, but that's okay. That's what early art is all about. It's a collection of stuff basically.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting because I sort of wondered if, like in 373, let's say if you started on the main figure, if in fact you completed it, it may as well be the drawing, the painting, the work of one person.
No, I never would have completed one figure on my own. The only time this happened was sometimes I can tell you where later on in the gay pride things or in the Hamlin's Point pictures, I can actually tell where the individual artists worked on separate pieces. For instance, this is from the gay pride, 389. This is on page 8. It's 389. I can tell where my part of the drawing is, because this was a different situation. This was not in the studio. This was not, just thinking of one or two figures as cruising or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This was a whole big scene.
Right.
And all of a sudden, we had lots more to do. And the man on the head in the sort of top left, the brown hair, that looks like my drawing.
Right.
That looks like my style actually. It has more of the classical way of working, and part of the middle looks more like John's work. He's very loose.
True. Yes.
He's very loose, and he has a kind of a kind of vigor about his work that I didn't have at the point.
Well, one thing I actually didn't know, was everything done in watercolor, or did you use various media?
No, actually, we didn't use watercolor. This actually is chalk pastel. And it was an easy material to use outside, easy to carry. You don't have to have any water or brushes. You just put it on.
And what you see is what you get.
And what you see is what you get. You just have to be careful in handling it later.